Our thoughts influence how we feel and behave. We have as many as 100 different thoughts in a day. Sometimes we can overthink, thinking the same thought with too much frequency, or sometimes our thought can be distressing, and we can have negative thoughts that cause us to suffer. My name's Charlie Carroll, and I'm a therapist from the Priory, Altrincham, and today I'm going to be talking through how to reframe your thoughts if you're finding them difficult at this moment in time. Before we can target and change a thought, we have to first know what that thought is. Sometimes this can be as simple as taking a mindful moment to be conscious of what you're thinking and how it's influencing the way you feel and behave, but sometimes we can use something more specific. In cognitive behavioral therapy, which I practice, we may use something like a thought log, or we may practice writing our thoughts down. This allows us to get them into a format that's actionable and practical and that we can begin to break down and change and reframe. But that first step is always noticing the thought, separating it from ourselves and putting it into a place where we can then action it in a practical way. We're not just looking for any thought. We're looking for those thoughts that cause us suffering and are negative. One of the ways we can begin to notice those thoughts is by looking for errors or distortions in our thinking. This may be thoughts that are very all or nothing. They don't have much flexibility, and they ascribe a judgment to something which is inaccurate. Another type of thought distortion could be catastrophizing, seeing the worst in everything, which may look like thoughts along the lines of, what if X happens, with it always referencing the worst possible scenario. In this video, we'll work through an example together to show you how it's done. Let's start with a simple thought around work. You may be thinking, what if I mess up this project at work? What if I mess it up and other people are affected negatively by it? What if because I messed this project up, I lose my job? We'll take this example through the video and I can show you how to reframe this thought for the betterment of your well-being. Now we have our thought, let's begin to look at how we can start to break this down. The first step is to simply ask, is this thought true? We have many thoughts every day. Some of them are more accurate and some of them are less accurate. Sometimes our thoughts will be in relation to a possibility, a possible threat within that scenario, but perhaps we're thinking of it to an excessive degree where it's causing us a lot of suffering. The first step, though, would simply be to ask, is this thought true? Is it likely to occur based on the evidence of the past? One of the first questions we're going to ask in terms of evidence is, has this outcome happened in the past? And if so, what were the consequences? Another question we're going to ask is, how likely is this outcome to happen again, based on the current situation and the past situation? The third question we're going to ask is, are there any alternatives or other possible scenarios or outcomes that may happen that we're discounting? By asking those questions, we should begin to build some evidence around the thoughts we have. Let's take it to the example we referenced before. When it comes to messing up at work or getting something wrong, is this something that has happened previously? Are there any other possible outcomes that may happen, i.e. you don't mess it up and it goes fine? Why are we focusing on the negative outcome? Is it based on substantial evidence? And if so, we might then action that through a behaviour. We may address that concern by speaking with our boss or manager to try and get feedback so we can improve, rather than pushing the thought away. Alternatively, you may find that there isn't any evidence to support the theory that you are going to mess up at work, in which case the thought would be inaccurate. And by gathering that evidence, we can then build the confidence to recognize that we haven't messed up these scenarios in the past, and therefore we can have very strong confidence that we can go into that scenario without leading to it going the wrong way for us. One of the key strategies you can implement is gathering positive evidence to support yourself when it comes to actually engaging with the behavior where that thought is triggered. That may look like a positive behavioral log, where you log similar times you've had similar thoughts and what the outcome has been. By doing this over a period of time, you can build up an evidence base so that you don't have to believe in yourself. You know based on past evidence what's then going to happen. Now we have gathered evidence, considered alternatives, and looked at what we may do based on the evidence, it's now time to take up a more accurate thought that we have reframed to move us forward. This new thought will hopefully be accurate and represent the evidence correctly. If the evidence is that sometimes we have messed things up at work and sometimes we haven't, then we need our new thought to accommodate that. We also need our new thought to accommodate the context of what has happened in the past if we have messed up. Has it been okay? Was it difficult for a time, but then we were able to recover? Is our new thought accurately embodying all of this, or simply focusing on the worst case scenario? Alternatively, if we only have the positive evidence from the past, then we would take a new thought up, such as, I'm prepared, I'm ready, I'm experiencing something that is normal, and in the past when I've experienced this, I've been able to perform capably. In terms of integrating and taking our new, reframed, more accurate thought forward, there are a number of little tricks we can use to help it stick. For some people, it's as simple as writing it down on sticky notes and posting it around the house. For other people, it may be finding a mantra that embodies the spirit of the thought. For other people, it may be using active prompts in their notebook, in their diary, or even something like journaling with a certain aim in mind. Quick summary of reframing your thoughts. Step 1, notice the thought. Identify it and try and strip it away from yourself in some way. That may be by writing it down. Step 2 is asking ourselves, is the thought true? Gathering evidence for the thought and seeing if it matches the evidence we have. Step 3 is then testing some of that evidence out. If the evidence is positive and negative, then we may want to reframe our thought to be more accurate. Again, if the evidence is mainly positive, we'd want to reframe the thought to be more accurate. If there is, by any chance, negative evidence, then we'd want to action it through a new behaviour. So step 3 is then taking our more accurate thought forward with us in order to manage our well-being better moving forward. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution, and it isn't going to solve all your problems overnight. But it can help you shift the frame slightly, gain a new perspective, and have a different lens on a situation you're facing. If we can change our thoughts even slightly, we may be able to engage with different behaviours that can compound in the long term to produce significant improvements in our well-being.